benefits are for each one. We also need to have an opportunity to discuss the details and ask each of the vendors for questions. The bottom line is the funding is pretty much the same across all three vendors. The most significant difference is that Single Digits is a 3-year, 36-month, no upgrades. Fast Stream is fiber optics, local company, highly recommended, a 7-year contract, like I said, comes with it would bring us with new technology. Both of them offer DirecTV. All of them upgrade the technology for DirecTV to internet streaming. So essentially, you download an app on your television and you stream instead of using the satellite dishes on the roof. If you do not have a television that is a smart television...
Recording stopped.
Yvonne, your recording stopped. I wonder if we lost those folks in the room.
It looks like it.
Yeah, because when it dropped, it went to change and it said you're now the host. That means the whole room.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? We're talking about internet and streaming.
Oh, Big Brother is listening.
Yeah.
Maureen, while we're trying to find them, the difference is that the two new companies are fiber optic, and the other one is just the same old coax lines we have, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's an important distinction to be made.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I apologize for being late if I missed something on the first agenda item that we had.
You did not miss anything unless you had something to. Oh wow! Oh, I think I have the budget in front of me. Look at that! I found it. No, unless.
No, as long as there were no objections, I'm fine.
No.
We just assigned every action item to you, Dennis. That's all. And I announced that you and I voted in those members that are now on the board and were interested in helping us. That we did not have. We basically appointed them. Didn't have a vote.
Drafted.
They were drafted by Yvonne and appointed by you and I. So, wonder if they're having to reset their connection or something.
She's on now.
You're back on, Yvonne?
I saw her name for a second.
Her name is on.
Can I ask a question about this new streaming service?
Sure, go ahead.
Hi, sorry, it's Kathy and Holly here. We're the owners of A111, Avon. Is it compulsory that we have to have the streaming? I feel that most people nowadays have their own internet and their own streaming setup. I mean, can't we save a lot of money by not actually having this service?
It looks like it would be about $45 a month per unit, and it's a very good question, Holly. I think before we make a decision, if we can get a poll out to the community, that would be great. But my understanding, according to Florida statute, is internet is considered a utility and mandatory to be provided by a condominium association. The other side of it is there's, of course, there's two sides to every story, right? Some people want to save the money and they stream and they don't need DirecTV. Others believe it was an amenity and it was provided, and to take away an amenity is a problem. But I really would be very much interested in finding out what the majority of the association would like. And
Maureen, if I could chime in on this, Holly, what we've learned is that DirecTV, these providers, they subsidize them in order to provide that service. And if we were to drop the TV portion of it, it doesn't mean that the price of the internet stays the same. Almost all of it jacked the internet up price. The packaging made it. The packaging is what
That's not true, Dennis, that's not true with the local guy, Fast Stream. Yeah, they're two separate packages, yeah.
One of them was a la carte and one of them was,
Right,
my
yeah.
point was being is that it does require a bit further investigation beyond just dropping it, because some of them, it does affect the price of the overall packaging, and then whether they will offer some of the amenities that come along with it. It's kind of all bound together. It's not as a la carte as we had hoped it would be.
Yeah. No, I just think we should definitely look into it, because looking at the budget, it's a huge chunk of money that goes towards cable and internet.
You're correct.
Yeah, but the net effect, I think, is $40 to $45 per unit, depending upon the cost.
Yeah. No, 100%. You know, and I'm quite interested to hear about the internet, because since moving here, I've lived in 3 condos and I have never had internet provided for me.
Interesting. Okay.
You know, it's always something that I've had to purchase myself. So that's the only reason I ask. So.
Were you in a condo or a homeowner?
Yes. No, in a condo. Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll have to fact check that piece of information that I was given then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just, I like the idea of doing a poll, or at least asking people what their opinions are. Yeah, I just...
Everybody's going to have one, right? I mean...
Absolutely, you know.
I mean, in my family, you know, we have opposing opinions on many things, and I don't know how you do the tiebreaker, you know. I like to get the majority of the people in the input, right?
100%.
But...
Sorry.
Hey, so we were just sitting here chatting about internet as your internet went out. How ironic is that?
Well, I'm not on yours. I was on my own, so no one to blame there.
Okay, so there was a question from those that were online talking about internet. The question was, can we opt out of cable television and reduce our monthly expenses by $45 or $40 a month? And I said that is certainly something that is on the table for discussion, and it would be great to do a poll of the community to find out what the community's interest is as part of the input for the vote on what direction we go in. And do these cable companies offer a la carte? Can we get internet without cable? Will it affect our prices? Those were all questions that were asked. So before a decision is made, I think we need to gather those facts. The other question was, or the other statement was that I was told that internet is considered a utility, and by Florida statute, condominium associations are required to provide utilities. And somebody else raised the point that they have never been provided internet as a utility. They have always had to subscribe to it individually on previous locations. So we need to fact check that before we make a decision. But what I started to say before we dropped from internet cable decision is there were 3 providers. One is local. Two of them are fiber. The third one is using what we currently have with single digits. So I believe we need more information. The board needs an opportunity to review the contract, see the benefits, and have an opportunity to ask the vendors specific questions before we bring the suggestion for a vote here. Any other discussion from the
recording
board on
in progress?
This?
Are you doing questions now, Maureen? I didn't hear you.
Yes, I asked the board if there was any more input on my suggestion to postpone. Lack of information, need time to absorb the contracts before we vote on which vendor to go with.
We're currently on a month-to-month, correct?
Correct.
Talk as well.
In favor of postponing. Before you got cut off, you started to say something about the Dish TV streaming versus using national satellite dish.
Mm-hmm.
Plus all 3 proposals.
All 3, yes, that's correct.
Any issues?
Yeah, exactly. I have some details here.
Is that breaking?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last statement, John. What was that?
That particular issue people have in the discussion in the room. We mentioned when it rains, sometimes the dish goes out varying degrees because will range.
And I want everybody to know that you have the option to stream DirecTV right now. You can go to your television and you can download the DirecTV app and you can stream DirecTV. You will be limited on your channel lineups, but you can still do that as an option. And you can also get a Gemini box for those televisions that are not smart TVs and stream local television. And so I encourage you to, even if you're not getting pixelation from the microwave dish that's on the rooftop, I encourage you to look into downloading the DirecTV app and get familiar with that, because that is the way that all of the companies are going, is with that streaming app. Any other questions or comments or concerns about DirecTV and internet?
I don't.
You got to try to pick up her.
Oh, yeah. Maureen, if this can go together, but these companies, do they work with cameras, or they can be, or could they be connected in the future or something like that?
We've touched on that. Get to the cameras, yeah, in a bit. Yeah, Maureen, right? Agreed?
Yeah, so that's a good question, Jackie. That is one of the questions that we ask the companies. They all have a different answer. The good news is if you're going to upgrade your technology to fiber, it carries the electronics. It does not require you to have an electrical outlet to put a camera up. Many people have experienced the Ring cameras that you put on your doors so you can actually see all the way down the hallway. Those devices are very low cost. Where you get into your money is using artificial intelligence to identify whether or not somebody is valid and should be on your property. I mean, it can get quite sophisticated when you start bringing new residents into your property. As you onboard them, they get into your database. It's a knowledge base. You get photos. If there's a stranger or a visitor that comes in, they're authorized, they get put on there. So you can, and there's a cost associated with everything. So yes, Jackie, those are some options that we're looking into. Those are things that will be presented to the board for consideration. Security is a big concern. I'm just going to put it right out there because Jackie walks the property on a regular basis. She lets us know when we're seeing security violations. We had one on the property. The whole board is aware of that. We actually had squatters living in a unit. Frank and I personally went to that unit, called the sheriff, got them off of the property. We had multiple people within the community coming together to, through phones, telling us what was going on, and we got them off the property, right? And it took a little bit of discomfort, but it is a real issue. I don't know that cameras are going to solve the issue. I think taking swift action and picking up the phone and calling the non-emergency telephone, making the reports. We actually uncovered at least $20,000 worth of stolen backpack computers, electronics that were stuffed behind a dryer, right? Meeting people to pick up bicycles to hand them off to other people at the corner gas station. It's a real issue. The police said it was abandoned property until I continued to press them that it wasn't abandoned property, it was stolen. So it requires a lot of aggression to make sure that our community is safe. And cameras is certainly one way that we might look into that. We've also talked about security, maybe hiring a security company to come through once or twice, maybe resetting all of the directory as people leave. We don't do a good job across the 3 associations to remove people from the directory. Those key fobs that were issued have never been recovered. Who knows how many people have them? Who knows how many people are still using the swimming pool and the tennis courts as their own little spa? So thank you for bringing that up, Jackie. Yes, that is a concern, and it is something that would be put forward to the board for consideration. There's a lot of legal issues that need to be considered as well, but definitely a concern we need to look into.
I have a price for all of that already. One second. Yeah. Security is going to be about $4,500 a month. It's very expensive. Although I think security would be our best bet, and that's only for 3 or 4 nights a week, from 9 to 2. It's temporary, but just the fact that they might be there and show a presence might help, especially with the homeless people that are jumping the fence and coming inside. I think that would deter them for sure. It's expensive though. Cameras, to set up all the cameras, to extend the Wi-Fi's to all the trash bins, the first floor, all the elevators, only 7 cameras, it's going to be about $18,000. So just letting you know, I have been very busy getting quotes for all these things, and it takes a lot of time to do this. So I don't know if we can find that money somewhere, but I think one or the other is very important.
This recent episode sounds like the people basically unbelievably bold. And
Yes.
this is just, I don't mean to make that our guidepost, but just as it is a recent example, I don't know if people of that nature are going to be that dissuaded in their boldness because they see the camera looking up above or something. I don't know. But all of these things will be expensive of some sort.
Yeah, and we have to gather all the facts and present them. We have to look at the funding. We have to prioritize them. And we have to take a look at them. I want to try to make sure that I'm facilitating against the agenda. It's very valuable conversation. It did come up underneath cable and internet to try to talk about security. I also wanted to point out that as we talk through this, it brings up another issue of I'll call it the onboarding process, right? The vetting of residents coming in and out of the property and the management of a violation within an agreement, right? The thing that we had leveraging was the fact that I personally did the interview of the gentleman that is renting the unit. I personally approved him after properly vetting and doing background investigation. Yet the individual that was in there was not a registered guest, was not on the property, so I had firsthand knowledge and I could take care of it. But it does raise a concern for the board to consider on how are we going to enforce leases and contracts for residents in the community to make sure that we are keeping our community safe and secure. And again, I want to get back to the agenda, but as we're talking about these things, we are going to stray in the conversation, and I want to make sure that we have the opportunity to keep that free flowing. As Yvonne said, that security is on the agenda. It's under number 6, line item E, or letter E, so we can continue the conversation about security there if there's any more questions about that. Any other questions, comments about cable and internet before we move on?
Yeah, we have one here.
I'm glad you did talk about security as such a quality of life issue. I'm glad we're discussing all of that.
Absolutely.
I wanted to go back to the cable issue, and it's just a question really, and I realize you're going to examine everything, but my question is, if people opt out of that, how does that affect the fact that it might be some kind of an amenity? I mean, because isn't it listed as cable and internet? It's kind of like box berries. It's kind of an amenity. So, I mean, how much can you tamper with that without tampering with the docs?
Well, that's why Maureen mentioned that being a condo association, and it's considered a utility now. It used to not.
Can you repeat the question for me?
The question that was asked was how much can we interact with keeping the cable and internet like a separate utility without affecting our HOA fees and things like that.
Hey, Yvonne, can you clarify that? Because I heard a different question. I heard how can you take away cable when it was originally identified as an amenity?
Yes.
Okay, so cable is different than internet. What I was told was internet is considered a utility, just like your water, electric, okay? So internet is not up for discussion. What is up for discussion is cable. And the question is, can we provide the opportunity for folks to opt out of cable? And cable is a bulk purchase, right? It's all community members, 230 or none. And so the question is, can the board make a decision to not provide bulk cable at $45 or $40 a month? If we don't do that,